Ready?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Call the meeting to order at 7 p.m. First order is the pledge of allegiance. Please join me.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Public comment. Do I have public comment this evening? Mr. Jerome?
David Denone, 85 Vandale Street, Putnam. I was reviewing the agenda here. I remember requesting that I be put on the agenda to speak about the web development, and it was so noted by Mayor Falzarano. I'm curious to know what the procedure is here. I don't see my name or the topic on the agenda.
I believe because of the bid openings were today,
Mm-hmm.
that's why that was postponed. So.
Well, I respect that the bid openings were today. I was actually present at the bids, and Ms. Cole, I believe, Nancy, yes, is going to make me a copy of the statistics or, the various summaries of these, which I am interested in. However, what I was mostly interested in was the process up to that point of the RFPs, and in particular, a conversation that I had with Denise regarding that.
Okay, so noted.
So noted?
Yep, I'll bring it back to the
Okay.
next, I imagine that it's going to be put on for the next one. I think that maybe the thought was that once you had the bid opening and that was awarded, that might be a better time.
Okay, well, that's certainly acceptable. I have no problem. I'm just curious to know why, I did not appear on the agenda if there's a response to that, other than that you're saying that because the bids are closed today, someone decided that it wasn't necessary.
I don't have an answer, just that that's what my assumption is.
Would you assume Mayor Falzarano would be more clear on this?
He might be. He's on vacation
Well,
till
okay,
tomorrow, so
yeah.
you can maybe come and visit with him.
Yeah. Well, I'm just curious, any comments from the Board of Selectmen about this at all?
No.
I haven't seen, it's my understanding Nancy's going to tabulate the results.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of differentials, some includes training, some charge for
Oh,
training.
yeah.
So you try to have an apples to apples
No.
comparison, it's going to be hard.
What my concern is why I'm not on the agenda.
I see.
That's my concern. Is there any response from
No.
Alder? None whatsoever.
No.
Do you know what the protocol is for me to get my name on the agenda for a topic?
Do you want to be on for next time?
Yes.
Then we'll try to get you on for next
We'll
time.
try it out.
Okay.
Oh, thank you very
You're
much.
welcome.
Roy, thank you. Roy Simmons, 175 Heritage Road. On the 14th of January, I received a letter signed by Mayor Falzarano with respects to Republican vacancies on town boards and commissions. I sent him a letter on the 28th of January with nominees for the positions, and I still haven't heard anything about it. Do you know when that's going to be addressed?
No idea, but I'll make sure that it gets back to him. Oh, Doug,
I talked to the town clerk today, and as soon as the mayor gets back tomorrow, that's one of the first things that I'll be reviewing. So you should be hearing shortly.
Thank you.
Any other public comment? Okay. Hearing no other. Approval of minutes?
I move that we approve the two corrections. The first correction was the name that we put up for the position on the Board of Finance. In the minutes it says it failed 4-0. Mark Caswell actually passed 4-0. And the last correction I was very pleased to read, but unfortunately it wasn't true. The Deputy Mayor Kempek seconded the nomination. And, I appreciate the promotion, but it is not true.
I'll second as amended.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Petitions and communications, letter dated April 7, 2014 from Willa Brady regarding a follow-up report on April 1st, 2014 PH Cedents. The letter is in your packet, and as usual, any other report is filed in the mayor's office and there's any other interest. Reports on standing committees. We have General Government Committee, Code of Codification. It is ready to be. Chief Hayes has finished his part of it. We just have not had a General Government Committee meeting, and we will be scheduling one. We're going to be talking a little bit more about it. Reports of standing committees, special committees, elevator contract review. Scott?
Yeah, we had a meeting scheduled for the 14th of April, which we had to postpone because we had a very interested party in the tech park that we chose to go make a presentation down to Scotland. So we rescheduled our meeting for May 12th.
Charter revision study committee, Doug, anything?
Again, just a matter of trying to find the time to schedule that meeting and get everybody on the same page at the same time, so.
Okay. And Putnam facilities, from what I understand, we're still repopulating. Any other updates on that?
No further updates.
Okay.
Anybody has any names, let us know.
Staff reports, economic and community development, Delta's report is in your package. Anybody have anything of Delta? Any questions for her while she's here? No? How's the new place, Delta?
It's wonderful. A lot of street traffic, people stopping in and giving the tour. So tomorrow we'll be having our first economic development and redevelopment agency meeting there, so
How exciting.
more space.
Great.
Yes.
Building official DEO report, anything for Lee? Any questions, anybody? No? Lee, anything to add?
No?
Okay. Town planner. We have his report. Any questions?
Very thorough.
Okay. And assessors, there's no report on the assessors. Everybody's done that, that was fine. Oh.
It's in the,
Oh, the reval report? Did you have that? Do you want me to read it, or since it wasn't in our packet? Doug, do you want me to read it in or no? Okay.
Just make aware that it was presented.
Okay, it is presented. Everybody has a copy of it. It's about the reval report. All right. And moving forward, the town administrator's report.
I was not able to put together a report, but I would like to report some things under the 10C, which took a lot of my time
Okay.
the past few meetings.
All right. Unfinished business, town administrator's contract extension, possible executive session regarding personnel matters. I am still awaiting Attorney St. Ange. She is now reviewing the final draft of the contract. Today, I did get the Word document of Doug's actual review, so hopefully the General Government Committee will be scheduling a review as soon as I hear from Attorney St. Ange. We'll be scheduling a meeting, and at that time, we'll go over his contract in addition to going over the codification. Any questions on that?
So what was the timeline do you think on that?
Bill didn't give me one today,
No.
but hopefully, I'm hoping within the next couple of weeks, but I'll be on him to see. He's just awaiting some information from Doug. The fiscal year 2014-2015, we know that we passed this along to the hearing, which is Wednesday.
I have questions,
Sure.
and I met with Doug already before on this, and I just want to be under the understanding, because I'm doing my math, as you know, and the numbers just don't come out from last year to this year. So are we in essence looking for a $500,000 increase? The amount to be raised is $9,849,524, and does that represent a $500,000?
That represents $500,000, but it also reflects the amount that was increased in the grand list. So that approximately $178,000 is also included in that, but it also includes the $500,000 increase that was predicated on the Board of Finance actions.
So what's the bottom line? Is it $500,000?
$500,000.
I would say that in the future, we should have numbers that we present to the people that are accurate, so if they do their math, they'll be able to come up with the same information that we do. We owe it to the people.
I have a question. When the rest of us got this packet and you went over the numbers, Did everything look kosher to you? Did everything add up? Scott's shaking his head, no, they didn't add up for me, they didn't add up for Pete, Owen. And yet we're gonna vote to send this to a public hearing, and it's not right, and it doesn't make any sense.
I think it's already at the Board of Finance, so it's not like we're voting to send it there. I think that's in the Board of Finance's hand. Am I wrong?
That's correct.
So it's.
I know that, but we're going to send a proposed budget to the people at public hearing. They're gonna walk in, and there's gonna be a whole bunch of stuff on the table, and they're gonna grab it, and they're gonna look at it. We do this for a quasi-living, okay? These are the waters that we swim in. And this doesn't make any sense to me. And we're gonna have people walking in off the street grabbing this stuff, and it's gonna look like Greek to them, and they're gonna be confused, and no matter what anybody says, it's not gonna make any sense to them because it doesn't match what's on paper. I know, Renee, you're looking at me a
Well,
little
I guess
quizzically.
I mean, the format's different, but I don't think this will make any, we're putting aside if there are any addition errors. It's not going to make any more or less sense than prior years. I mean.
The point of the matter he's trying to make and we're trying to make is the numbers should be accurate
Well, yeah.
before it's sent.
Mhm.
We owe that to the
Agreed.
people.
That I agree.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be a lot of education, a lot of questions that night.
What's
I
that?
think there'll be a lot of education, a lot of questions that night, and there should be.
My concern was, and I asked for it early on, and they still didn't get it, and I did it myself once I got the electronic copy, but the show me the change in dollars on one column and show me the change in percent. It makes it so much easier when you look line item by line item and things like that. And that's a format that we got accustomed to at the Board of Ed, and it just, maybe it was me, but it just made sense over the 8 years. This, I understand it, but it's not as easy and it doesn't jump right out at you.
It's not
like
as
the Board
readable.
of Ed's numbers.
Yeah, I mean, you had changes from last year, or we ever did before, because you moved certain line items to a different, building cycle, whatever you want to call it, that was never was there before. I mean, I know for the rec department, there's like $80,000 more of expense,
Well, you had
but
fight
it never
Yeah.
showed $75,000 income, but it's different
Right.
than ever before. That's,
Yeah.
I think that was more confusing, like the Social Security and all that is in each department now that wasn't there before. So there's so many different areas that changed, and, I agree, we didn't have a problem getting all the numbers done. The treasurer was out of town, and death in her family, and she was on vacation, and we only had 1 hour that night before the Board of Finance for us to look at. That wasn't anybody's fault, we just couldn't, get it done. But I'm sure the Board of Finance has gone through this since we sent it over to them, and they've made changes. But I haven't seen that change yet.
When is it, the 23rd?
Tomorrow night.
Wednesday.
Wednesday night.
Wednesday night.
Oh, yeah, 23rd.
7th.
Right, 7:30.
Yeah, there should be questions,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well,
and rightfully so.
I just, I have concerns for people who walk in off the street and they grab information that we're providing them. And A, they can't understand it, and B, it may be wrong. Now, I understand not everybody can look at this and make heads and tails out of it on first try. I mean, Peter and I sat down for a couple hours at your house trying to figure it all out. So someone just walking in off the street and grabbing it, sitting in a seat over at the auditorium probably isn't going to figure it out in half an hour. But even more than that, I just hate the thought of giving people information that's not correct.
Well said.
Anything else on there? Unfortunately, we can't do anything that's going to tomorrow
Go
night.
through it
It's in the
Wednesday,
Board
right?
of Finance's hand. And like I said, hopefully there'll be a lot of questions, a lot of education. And we as selectmen should make sure that we do what we need to do at the hearing. to make sure that people are understanding everything. Okay, next one, Quinnipiac Regional Tech Park.
First of all, Doug, I had the pleasure of going with Doug and Scott, and I just want to say what a great job they did representing this town. For the two towns we went last week, there wasn't one negative. Nobody was negative, not even once. And, you know, Scotland, we probably had 10, 15 people, and about the same in Canterbury. And, you know, once Scott and Doug explained everything, you know, people are really for it, actually. You know.
Thanks. Well, we have two more opportunities to share the good news. We're going to Brooklyn on the 24th, which is this Thursday, 6:30, and next Wednesday we'll be in Pomfret, and also at 6:30. So those are the last two towns, unless Delphi had something going on with Sterling, with their economic development coordinator.
They were going to call the mayor,
Okay.
just try and set up something.
We also have a rough draft of a contract based on the input that we received from the towns. We're still working on it, but we've got a lot of good input, a lot of good questions, and we'll hopefully get our first partner on board and give them the sign on the dotted line.
Great.
Yes, in regard to the actual park and moving forward on construction, there are just two items right now that are holding us up in terms of going out to bid on the construction of the bridge and the roadway. One is that we are still discussing the permit required from the Army Corps of Engineers. Now, we're hoping that it's only going to what they call a general permit number 1, which isn't as elaborate or as much requirements to submit that and get their approval, sign off on the general permit. The one thing that might hold that up is because the state DEP had a requirement that when we put the bridge in, is that we had to put boulders in for fishery purposes in the vicinity of the bridge. If those boulders have to be put in and are required to be put in, then we could fall into a different category with the Army Corps of Engineers. So now we're coming back and we're looking at a different location to put those boulders in to enhance the fisheries. So we're hoping that will resolve it, and we're going to be meeting with CME out probably in the vicinity of Simunzi Park, and that might be the best location to put boulders into. And I don't know who's a fisherman here, how that helps out in terms of the fisheries in the river, but it's a requirement that DEP has placed on it. And the other thing is right now we're also talking to DEP about to acquire the easement on the east side of the river. It's already been approved by DEP. There were certain conditions that were put on that, and we're telling DEP, per their instructions, is that we would have a memorandum of understanding in place that would describe the improvements that they want, which included the placement of boulders in the river, but also extended the river trail down from the farmer's market to the Wheelabrator Bridge, and put at that location also a location for parking for fishermen, and also to allow kayak and canoe access at that point. That was the agreement that they suggested that we would agree to and put it in and memorialize it in an MOU. And so I'm still waiting for the language for the MOU. And once that's been accomplished and we get the sign off from the Army Corps of Engineers, that's all the permits that are needed to be that would be in place, and then we can go out to bid on the construction of the bridge and the roadways.
Anything else on that?
And the two towns that we have talked to have, again, agreed to enter into negotiations with us, and we are proceeding with putting the draft agreement together. And as soon as the mayor gets back, because it's a requirement of state statute that the chief executive officials of towns have to come together to negotiate. So, and that will be accomplished as soon as Mayor Falzarano comes back tomorrow.
Things are really going along.
One town was of the opinion that they'd like to have it at their annual town meeting, which is in May.
Wow.
Which benefits us because
So you know, that we are.
that's right, because when we applied to the state of Connecticut under the Manufacturing Assistance Act program, which is the program where we get whether it's 75 or 50%, I was planning to do that sometime in June, and then, so if we know something in May, we can just say, we got a town, we're off to the races.
That's great.
And again, Scott did a fantastic job.
I
Very,
carried that.
very concise. He was our
I
muscle,
carried the
we
bags.
needed muscle, he was our muscle, so. He's good, he's good to come along on these small towns, because everybody comes up to us and says,
That's right.
oh,
He knows
you
me.
should remember me, and so.
Used to milk cows here. and-
That's right.
You ask girlfriends?
Everywhere.
Moving right along.
Yes. You want to do this?
Yes,
Want to do the,
yeah. I would entertain a motion to move up the recognition of Putnam Science Academy students, which is under new business, C.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Before we do that, though, grant considerations, is there anything that you want to cover under that? Because that's the last one there.
how about town hall working?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. You want to do those two
No,
first?
yeah, let's get this,
Okay,
take
all
care
right,
of the
so,
recognition and.
welcome. Do you want to come up?
Yeah, Putnam Science Academy students did exceptional stuff this year in math, science, model UN and robotics. And also they are representing Putnam community everywhere, statewide or nationwide, sometimes international. So I brought them here to be recognized by you. And you may ask some question what they did this year, and they can answer your question.
All right. Now, we did know that in the package it talks about exactly what you guys did, but tell us in your words, who wants to be the spokesperson? Do you want to come up here so we can, or right there, fine, whatever you're comfortable with, okay.
I'm a senior at the PSA, and I've been there all 4 years. And despite the fact that we're like, 150 students total, we're involved in pretty much everything. You know, we do sports with like other schools like Marinapolis, Pomfret. We have our science fair team, which is pretty strong this year. I think 2 teams are going to Texas. We won first, second, third, fourth, fifth place at the CT Science Fair. And then we have a great robotics team. I'm sure most of you have heard of the robotics team we have. This year robotics, we made it to the Super Regional, which was held in York, PA. But we were unfortunately unable to qualify for the World Championship like we did the last 2 years. It's okay, they have next year, you know. I'm and then under Model UN, actually, I think us 3 went to, us 4 went to Model UN, and 12 over here. Have you guys heard of Model UN? Well, you've heard of the United Nations, obviously. It's sort of like it's a mock UN, and you go there, you sit at Yale University in the classrooms, and whatever committee you're under, like I was doing SPECL, and you just discuss whatever's on the agenda. And everyone represents their own country, and it's really diplomatic, almost. Of course, when you have so many young people together, not everyone wants to actually do the job. So you have just a lot of like mingling, just a lot of like having fun is the most part. And then we have the math team. Math team this year, in the States, we were 4th, I believe. That was a big deal. Last year we were 10th, and the year before we were like 12th. So every year we're getting better.
Great. So next year's going to be first.
Maybe we should give them our budget to work.
You ran into that one.
Sorry.
As long as they make it down.
Yes.
And then our basketball, everybody's talking about our basketball team. We did really well this year. Once again, like this is the first year we qualified for we were accepted to the championship at, do you want to remember the name of the school? It was a national competition, I can't remember the name of the school, but we were qualified, it was a great year for us, especially, you know, we were 4th, we were 2nd once, we were almost 1st, but you know, I guess you can't have it all in 1 year.
Gotta save some for next year, right?
Yeah.
Considering the size of the school,
That's phenomenal. That's phenomenal.
So, you done?
Yeah.
So if you don't mind, like a few, one representative from each subject area, like
Sure.
say a few things. We have like a representative from science, social studies, math, and model UN. So,
Robotics.
and robotics. Almas can tell about robotics. If you please how it goes.
Yeah, right. Hi, my name is Almas. I'm a senior as well. I've been in robotics since its beginning. We were quite good 2 years ago. We won the world championship, the best notebook. We also are quite involved in community-wise. Despite our not going to World this year. We've got a lot of awards in Connecticut, and we actually advanced to regionals this year from Connecticut, and last year we won the first place in Connecticut robotics. I'm here with Cholak, so he will talk about our community involvement, because a big part of robotics in the competition we're in, it's community service, and actually like joining community groups.
Hello there, my name is Mohammed and I'm a sophomore at Putnam Science Academy. Well, I've been a part of robotics, well, this is my first year actually, first year in Putnam and first year in robotics. Well, when you talk about robotics, everyone thinks that it's only about engineering and like metal parts and robots, but no, we also try to involve with the community and give back to our community. Throughout the year, we've been a part of many community outreach events, like 15 plus. We've been a part of Pumpkin Fest. We mentored Science Olympiad teams. We went to other middle schools and tried to mentor the little kids there and talk to them, like teach them about robotics. And so it's pretty fun, and we're hoping to go to Worlds next year anyway.
If you guys need anything done, just let us know. We're always open.
We're always looking for help.
You know some boulders that could be placed.
Under math, we have someone reluctant.
I'm Furkan, I'm a sophomore. This is my second year in PSA. Since the beginning of the year, we have participated in several competitions in state and national, like Math Canada, MC and stuff. So yeah.
He'll be back.
He's one of the math geniuses there, so if you give him a competition, he's definitely gonna play.
And I got the 15th place in the whole nation in math competition.
Wow.
My name is Berk Solomon. I'm a junior at PSA. My team won first place at Connecticut Science Fair, and we're going on to iSweep Texas International, and also going to Netherlands in Amsterdam for another international competition.
So you'll get first in those, right?
No pressure, no pressure.
Yeah.
If you have any questions about the tournament, you may ask.
Hello everyone, I'm Omar. I come from Turkey for my first year in Putnam Academy. I'm the head delegate of Maluyuan Club in Putnam Science Academy. Well, this year we participated in Yale Maluyuan conference, but unfortunately we didn't get anything because our team members were actually, most of them were actually newcomers. So, well, in order to increase awareness of the Maluyuan Club, we do our mock debates weekly. So, in order to make them better delegates for each conferences. And me, myself, I participated in multiple conferences. I was the best delegate in Maluyuan, Turkey, which was the International Maluyuan Conference. And my friend can tell you what we have done in Yale Maluyuan Conference. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Adam. As he said, we competed in Yale this year. I myself am a sophomore. I've competed, this is my first year in Model UN, and personally I really enjoyed it, especially it being in Yale, a prestigious university. It was actually a lot of fun. Although the weather, it was really cold because we went in January and we didn't have jackets for our suits. And there was a lot of walking around, all the houses and all that. But mainly, Model UN, we were just given a topic that we had to research over like 2 months. And although we weren't really experienced with it, I thought we did really well, and it was an overall amazing experience. And hopefully for next year, as he said, we're training really hard this year to try and get an award for next year and to represent our school. Because this year, there were at least 2 schools with like 40 students, and whenever there was an award called, someone from that school went up and we were just like, so that was basically Model UN this year.
What was the topic?
Well, we were all we were all on different committees, safety and security, health administration, global warming.
We're getting there as well. Like in science and math, we're getting there in Model UN as well, hopefully. Very soon.
Great.
We're going to come back with like some medals, hopefully.
I know you will.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
it would be really nice to see some of you at the school sometime because
Yeah.
like people visiting the school is always nice and it's always exciting. You know, oh, someone came to see our school, someone came to see what we're doing. So the students at our school would be like really excited to see you there.
Or send your children there.
Let me just say that you represent your school very well, and you were
Yeah.
certainly very proud of you as far as the city of Putnam.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Together.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Alma, can we just ask where the gentlemen want to go on to universities and
Sure.
colleges?
Sure.
Okay, tell me, almost.
I chose Emory College, Emory University.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm going to be going there to Atlanta.
Oh, wow.
Congratulations.
Well, I kind of have big dreams, but I'm not sure if I can achieve them, you know. I was planning on going to New York. I'm actually from New York myself. This is my first year here. And, you know, it was kind of a big change to be in Putnam, a small town compared to New York City. So I want to go back there and, like, go to college there, you know, Columbia or Harvard maybe, but they're kind of too far. Like, I don't know, I'm scared.
I have not decided yet. I think there's still too much time for this.
Yeah, have a couple of years.
I'm from Brooklyn, New York also, so hopefully I can go to NYU. That's my dream.
Great.
I'm planning to go to USC, University of Southern California.
Very nice.
I myself am very interested in computers and engineering, like software design and all that. So I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and they have a great college there, CMU, Carnegie Mellon. But the weather here is very cold, and I actually want to go to like California, Caltech, you know,
Yeah, Caltech, yeah.
you know, do my majors there. So, yeah.
Well, there was a lot of controversy with what happened with me this year. You know, we applied to a lot of colleges. We applied to 18 plus. Some people applied to like 22, 25 colleges. And it's such a bad idea. Don't do it. And, well, I applied. I didn't get accepted very many places. So right now I'm looking at other options, perhaps learning Arabic somewhere, taking a gap year, doing voluntary work in other countries, other places.
Can we go around that?
Absolutely.
Maybe in the back?
Yeah, back.
Maybe those push together.
Yeah.
We're gonna move over a little too.
Yeah. Move this way, yeah. Push it in. I love chairs.
Over here.
Keep going.
I'm sorry.
Where are you from? Okay.
Don't smile.
Let us know, please.
That's all the ads. Win worlds. Thank you, fellas.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
See you next year. Bring your awards next time.
Have a good night.
We know you'll go.
Okay, so we're gonna go backwards a little bit, go back to 10D, Town Hall working hours. That's been tabled, however, we are trying to get that survey together. We're hoping to get it for the budget hearing, if time permits. If not, what we were thinking of doing is at the door, give out some sort of survey with a multiple, you know, the ones that, the hours we have now, the hours that were proposed, and then maybe some other options that are out there, because I've got a lot of feedback on Saturdays, maybe a late night, so some other things. So if we can get it, we'll do an informal survey then, but if not, hopefully the next town meeting, or the budget hearing, or something in between. Okay? Grant considerations, any updates on
I
that?
have nothing
Okay.
for consideration tonight.
Continuing on new business. Brian Lawson. Hi, Brian.
Hey, how are you?
Good. We have a temporary fiscal permit on Brian.
Make a motion that we approve this permit.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any questions, I should say, first before we move on for Brian?
Sure, Denise got all the paperwork that she needs.
I've known Brian for 15 years, going on 20.
Okay. So we can vote again. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Brian. Thanks for coming. The next one is consider granting Roger Franklin a temporary permit. Roger? There you are.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Does anybody know this guy?
You know,
See him once in a while.
I don't know, this RPC.
I don't know.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion's carried. Okay, moving on to D, consider granting permission to Day Kimball Hospital for their 25th annual race walk and ride Deering Memorial Race on Sunday, August 9th, 2014.
So moved.
Have a motion second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Next one is E, donation of a transit bus to the Putnam Fire and Police Departments. This bus, and I hope you all got the updates on that, but this bus is at the town garage. We did buy it back when Mayor Vans was here, and I think it's a great idea. It's just sitting there, it's not being used.
Where is it now?
It's at the town garage.
Little history on it. When Bob was mayor, I wanted to get it for the school department to use as a transportation vehicle, so we got it for $1. And then I was told that it didn't meet the codes and requirements, so it's been sitting there since ever he was mayor, 08 maybe. So I think it's great to see some use for it. I think the idea that they have for it is perfect. So.
Yep. Anybody else have anything they want to add? Okay. So,
I'll make that motion.
okay.
Second.
A motion second. Any other comments? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? Okay. Item F, agreement with QVEC Special Service District to place communications equipment on Ridge Road water tank.
Make that motion.
A motion, second. Any discussion?
I think it's a good thing. I've done a little bit of research, even though this was sprung on us at the last second. I inquired about it, and it's actually very good for the fire and emergency services here in Putnam.
Yep.
Everyone will benefit from it.
Do you make that motion contingent on authorizing the mayor to sign?
Absolutely. Can we amend that?
Yep.
Any other discussion? Anything to help the emergencies we should be doing? All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, G, CTEC solar proposal for solar power systems on municipal buildings. Since we just got it, I mean, I didn't have time to really look at it that much.
I have the full proposal, if you want the full proposal. The other thing is that if there's one company interested in working with the town of Putnam, there should be other companies
Right.
interested in working with the town of Putnam. Now, I know they were telling us that there's a time restriction here in terms of when they open up whatever the credits are, whatever the things are in terms of them getting in under the wire. But I think, we've waited this long, and I think it behooves us to get as much information as possible. This is a totally new area for me, so I think it would be to do the research, then, as other communities have done, which is basically put the thing out to bid or RFP and see what kind of interest we get. Instead of somebody coming in and saying, this is the rate you would get, maybe we can even reduce the rate even further. So.
Right.
And this would be on just the two new buildings?
No, we'll be
okay.
talking about expanding it possibly to include the old municipal landfill.
Oh, okay.
So if we have some land now that we have to maintain as open space in the Quinnipiac Technology Park, we could open that up to, because it's got great, exposure to the south, and so there's a lot of places that we could possibly, put installations, not only on our buildings, but also open space in town.
I think it's great that we have it, so that at least opens up that communication. Can we move to table, so we can just move?
Well, I mean, how about a motion to submit an RFP out? because, you know, the more we table it,
Nothing gets done.
yeah, nothing gets
True.
done.
True.
Then we,
I just
you
didn't
know-
know if you wanted to wait for Tony.
Well, I don't think an RFP can hurt anything. The more information, the better.
That's fine.
You know?
And we'll be
To
ahead of the
develop
game.
one?
I'll second that.
Yep.
Okay. So
I'll
we're,
bring it back in the next meeting.
okay, so we have a motion and a second for an RFP. Any more discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. MH.
I make the motion, we pay all.
I knew you'd be there, Owen. I'll second that.
Nobody else does it, I have to.
Got a motion
You
and a
don't give
second?
anybody a chance to.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All other business, anything else anybody wants to bring up?
I have a question. Do we have an update on the building official situation?
Still in the budget stuff.
Yep.
Oh, I'm sorry, I haven't looked into anything else.
Okay.
It's the whole idea of making them reapply.
Yeah.
Any update on that?
No?
No. Between surgery last week and
What's that?
holidays, between surgery last week and holidays, it was kind of,
So can we expect to have something in the near future?
yep.
Okay. All right, item 13, public comment. Anybody else for public comment? No one's close, okay. Seeing none, I'll take a motion to adjourn.